Listening.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته everyone. My name is Muhammad Hanan and I'm foundation level student at Rehan School, Islamabad, Barago campus. So viewers, today I'm going to talk with Maya on the simple topic of air. So Maya, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. I'm ready for your questions on air.
Alright, so my first question is what is air made of?
Air is mostly nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen makes up about 78% of it, and oxygen is about 21%. The rest is a tiny mix of argon, carbon dioxide, and some water vapor.
Alright, Maya, thank you. My next question is why is air essential for life on Earth?
Mostly because we need oxygen to breathe. It's what powers our cells. Plus, the atmosphere protects us from the sun's harsh radiation and keeps the planet's temperature stable so we don't freeze or fry.
All right, Maya. My next question is how did ancient humans understand air?
They didn't see it, so they mostly associated it with spirit or breath. In many ancient cultures, the word for breath and soul was the same because they noticed that when breathing stopped, life ended. It was this invisible force that they felt was the essence of existence.
All right, Maya. My next question is what role does air play in breathing?
It's the delivery system. When you inhale, your lungs pull in that oxygen rich air, and your blood carries it to every cell in your body. Then you exhale to get rid of carbon dioxide, which is basically the waste product of that process.
All right, Maya. My next question is how does oxygen support the human body?
It's like fuel for your cells. Oxygen goes into your bloodstream and hits your mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of the cell. They use that oxygen to turn nutrients from your food into energy. Without it, your organs, especially your brain, would shut down in minutes.
All right, Maya. My next question is why is air invisible?
Because it's made of gases with molecules that are too small and spread apart for us to see. Light doesn't bounce off them in a way our eyes can pick up, so it just passes right through.
All right, Maya. My next question is how does air move around the planet?
It's all about pressure and temperature. Warm air is lighter, so it rises, while cooler, denser air rushes in to fill the gap. That's essentially how wind is created and how weather patterns move across the globe.
All right, Maya. So my next question is what causes wind to form?
It's essentially a pressure game. When there's a difference in air pressure between two areas, air rushes from the high pressure zone to the low pressure zone to balance things out. That movement of air is what we feel as wind.
All right, Maya. My next question is how did early civilizations use air for transportation?
They harness the wind. Sailing ships were the big breakthrough. By using sails to catch the wind, early civilizations could move heavy goods and people across oceans and rivers much faster than rowing ever could. It turned the world into a connected place.
All right, Maya. So my next question is why is air connected to language and speech?
Because sound travels through it. Air is the medium that carries sound waves from your mouth to someone else's ear. Without air, there'd be total silence because there'd be nothing to vibrate and move the sound along.
All right, Maya. So my next question is how do humans use air to speak?
It's all about vibration. Your lungs push air up through your windpipe and into your larynx, where your vocal cords vibrate as the air passes. Then you use your tongue, lips, and teeth to shape those vibrations into the specific sounds and words.
All right, Maya. My next question is how do humans use air to speak?
We actually just touched on that.
All right.
I'm ready for your next one.
So my next question is what role do lungs play in communication?
They're the bellows. Lungs provide the steady stream of air pressure needed to make your vocal cords vibrate. Without that controlled push of air, you wouldn't have the power to produce a sound, let alone a full sentence.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, how does airflow create sound?
It's like a musical instrument. When air is pushed through a narrow opening, like your vocal cords, it creates a vibration. Those vibrations travel through the surrounding air as waves, which is exactly what our ears pick up as sound.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, why is
Ready
breath
for
important in language?
It's what gives language rhythm. Breath lets us pause for emphasis, create tension, or signal when we're finished with a thought. It's basically the punctuation of spoken language.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, how did the word air develop historically?
It's got deep roots. The word air comes from the Greek air, which referred to the lower atmosphere. That eventually moved into Old French as air before landing in English. It's always been about that invisible stuff we breathe.
All right, Maya. Thank you. So my next question is, what symbols and meanings has air carried across cultures?
It's often seen as a symbol of freedom and spirituality. In many cultures, air represents the intellect and the breath of life. In some Eastern philosophies, it's linked to the vital energy that flows through everything. Basically, wherever air is, there is a sense of openness and movement.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, why was air considered one of the classical elements?
Because it was one of the few things early thinkers could observe directly. Philosophers like Empedocles and Aristotle noticed that everything in the world seemed to be made of a few basic building blocks. Since air was everywhere and essential for life, it fit right in with earth, water, and fire as a fundamental force that shaped the universe.
All right, Maya. So my
No
next
worries,
question
Zach.
is, how did philosophers explain the power of air?
I think you meant the power of air, right? Like early philosophers often saw it as a dynamic, almost divine force. Some believed it was the source of all movement in the cosmos, while others linked it to the mind and spirit because of how it's invisible yet powerful enough to knock over trees. I'm still with you. What's the next question?
So my next question is, why was air considered one of the classical elements?
We actually just covered that one.
All right,
Early thinkers
my
like
bad,
Aristotle.
my bad.
No problem. What's next on your list?
So my next question is, what role does air play in weather systems?
Well, it's the main driver. Air movement creates everything from a light breeze to massive hurricanes. When warm air rises and cool air sinks, it creates pressure differences that move moisture and heat around the planet, which is how we get rain, snow, and those big storm systems.
All right, Maya, thank you. So my next question is, how do storms form in the atmosphere?
It's all about the collision of different air masses. Warm, moist air rises rapidly and hits cooler air higher up. It cools down and condenses into clouds. If that process happens fast and with enough energy, you get thunder, lightning, and rain.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, why does air pressure matter?
Because it's essentially the weight of the air above you. It controls how weather moves and even affects things like your ears popping on a plane. High pressure. Got it. If that's where we're stopping, I'll be here whenever you want to dive back in.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, how does air influence climate?
It acts like a global conveyor belt. By moving heat from the equator toward the poles, air currents prevent the tropics from getting too hot and the poles from getting too cold. It's essentially the planet's way of balancing its temperature.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, what role does air play in flying?
It's all about lift. Airplane wings are shaped to make air move faster over the top than underneath. This creates lower pressure on top, which basically sucks the plane upward into the sky.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, how did humans first dream of flight?
Mostly by looking at birds. For thousands of years, humans watched wings flap and felt a mix of jealousy and wonder. It started as a myth, like Icarus flying with wax wings, and eventually turned into a real obsession with building machines that could mimic nature.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, why were birds important in understanding air movement?
They're the original experts. Birds are built specifically to navigate air currents, using their wing shape to create lift and their feathers to control drag. By studying them, humans learned how air actually flows over a surface, which is exactly what led to the invention of the airplane.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, how do airplanes stay in the air?
It's a balance of four forces. Lift pushes them up, weight pulls them down, thrust moves them forward, and drag slows them down. As long as the lift is stronger than the weight, the plane stays airborne. I'm ready.
All right, Maya. So my next question from you, the question is, why can humans hear through air?
It's all about vibrations. Sound waves travel through the air as pressure waves, pushing molecules into each other like a row of dominoes until they hit your eardrum.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is,
I'm
what
here.
what role does air resistance play in motion?
Think of it as a invisible wall. It's basically air pushing back against anything moving through it. The faster you move, the stronger that push gets, which is why a skydiver needs a parachute to slow down, or why cars are shaped like teardrops to slice through it more easily.
All right, Maya. My next question is, how does air carry sound waves?
It's like a relay race. When something makes a sound, it vibrates and bumps into the air molecules right next to it. Those molecules bump into the next ones, and so on, creating a chain reaction of pressure that eventually reaches your ears.
All right, Maya. My next question is, what role does air resistance play in motion?
We actually just touched on that
All
one. It's
right,
that
Maya. My
invisible
bad.
wall. No worries at all.
So my next question is, how do musical instruments use air?
I think you mean air, right? Most instruments just create a vibration that pushes air around. Like in a trumpet or a flute, you're basically forcing air through a tube to make it vibrate at a specific frequency. That's what creates the note you hear.
Why is breath control important for singers?
It's their fuel. Singing is basically just controlled exhaling. If a singer can't manage their air, they can't hold long notes or control the volume and tone of their voice. It's the difference between a shaky note and one that sounds steady and powerful.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is, how does air shape spoken languages?
It's the medium for our voice. When we speak, our vocal cords vibrate, which pushes the air out of our lungs and creates those pressure waves we talked about. Without air, those vibrations would have nowhere to go, and we'd all be stuck in total silence.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is, why do accents depend partly on airflow and pronunciation?
It's all in the shaping. Accents happen because different cultures move their tongue, lips, and jaw in slightly different ways to block or release that airflow. It's like the air is the raw material, and the way you mold it is what gives a specific accent its unique sound.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is, how does air connect to emotions and expressions?
I think you mean air again, right? It's in
Yeah.
the delivery. The way we use air to create a sigh of relief, a gasp of surprise, or a shaky voice when we're sad, those aren't just sounds, they're emotional signals that the listener picks up on instantly.
All right, Maya. My next question is, what does breathing life into words mean?
It's a metaphor. means taking something flat, like a script or a piece of writing, and giving it emotion, energy, and a soul. When a speaker or actor does this, they're not just reading words, they're making them feel real and alive.
All right, ma'am. My next question is, how is air used symbolically in literature?
It's usually about freedom or the unseen. Writers often use air or wind to represent a sudden change, spiritual presence, or the feeling of being untethered. Think of a breeze as a sign of hope or a storm as a symbol of inner turmoil.
All right, ma'am. My next question is, why do many cultures connect air with freedom?
Because it's literally everywhere. It has no boundaries and can't be contained. So it's the perfect symbol for something that's unrestrained and wild.
All right, ma'am. Thank you. My next question is, how does air pollution affect human health?
It's a direct hit to our lungs. When we breathe in pollutants, they can get deep into our respiratory system and even enter our bloodstream, leading to everything from asthma and chronic bronchitis to heart disease.
All right, ma'am. The next question is, why is clean air important for survival?
It's the most basic requirement for staying alive, since our bodies rely on a constant supply of oxygen to fuel every single cell. Clean air is the difference between recovery and further complications, especially for someone whose system is already under stress.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is, how do plants interact with air?
They're basically the opposite of us. While we breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, plants do the reverse through photosynthesis. They take in that carbon dioxide and use sunlight to turn it into energy, releasing fresh oxygen back into the air for us to use.
What role does carbon dioxide play in nature?
It's essentially a planetary blanket. It keeps the Earth warm enough to support life by trapping heat in the atmosphere. But of course, too much of it is what's causing the planet to heat up faster than it should.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is, how do trees help improve air quality?
They're like nature's air filters. They soak up the carbon dioxide and filter out pollutants like dust and smoke through their leaves, then pump out clean oxygen. Basically, they're doing the heavy lifting to keep the air breathable for the rest of us.
All right, ma'am. My next question is, why is the atmosphere important for Earth?
It's our planetary shield. Not only does it give us the oxygen we need to breathe, but it also protects us from the sun's harshest radiation and burns up most meteors before they can even hit the ground.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is, how does air protect life from harmful radiation?
It's all about the ozone layer. It's a specific region of the atmosphere that acts like a giant pair of sunglasses for the Earth, absorbing most of the sun's dangerous ultraviolet rays before they can reach us.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is, what layers make up the atmosphere?
It's a layered cake of gases. You've got the troposphere where we live and breathe, then the stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and finally the exosphere, which just fades into the black of space.
All right, Maya. So my next question is, how do humans adapt to thin air at high altitudes?
First, just a quick correction. I'm Maya. As for the air, the body basically goes into overdrive. You start breathing faster to get more oxygen, and over time, your body actually produces more red blood cells to carry that oxygen more efficiently. It's like a biological upgrade to handle the altitude.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is, why does breathing change during exercise?
Hmm. Your muscles are basically screaming for more fuel. When you exercise, Your cells burn through oxygen way faster to create energy. Your brain notices the dip in oxygen and the spike in carbon dioxide, so it tells your lungs to speed up the intake and exhaust to keep everything balanced.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is: how does air influence fire?
It's the essential ingredient. Fire needs oxygen to survive. Without it, the flames just starve and go out.
All right,
It's basically a
all
chemical
right,
reaction
Maya.
where the air feeds. I'm still
So
here.
when
What's next on the
so my
list?
next question is: why can't fire exist without oxygen? Hey, Maya.
Because oxygen is the catalyst. Fire is essentially a rapid chemical reaction called combustion. For that reaction to happen, you need fuel, heat, and an oxidizer, which is usually the oxygen in our air. Without it, the chemical bonds simply can't break and release energy. So the fire just dies.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is: how did air help ancient civilizations develop technology?
It started with the basics of wind and fire. Ancient civilizations used wind to power sailboats, which opened up global trade and exploration. They also mastered the use of air to fuel furnaces for smelting metals, creating the tools and weapons that define their eras. Basically, they learned how to harness the invisible to build the visible.
All right, Maya. Thank you. My next question is: what role did windmills play in history?
They were the original power plants. Long before electricity, people used windmills to grind grain into flour and pump water from the ground to drain wetlands. It completely changed how they farmed and managed their land.
All right, Maya. My next question is: how does air energy create electricity today?
It's basically a giant fan in reverse. Instead of the wind being pushed by a fan, the wind pushes the blades of a turbine. That spinning motion turns a generator, which converts that mechanical energy into the electricity that powers our homes.
All right, Maya. My next question is: why is wind power considered renewable energy?
Because the wind doesn't run out. Unlike fossil fuels, which take millions of years to form, the wind is a constant result of the sun heating the earth unevenly. As long as the sun is shining, we'll have moving air, making it a source of energy that's naturally replenished.
All right, Maya. My next question is: how does air energy create electricity today?
We just went over that one too. Whoops, it's the wind turbine process. The wind spins the blades, which turns a generator to make electricity.
All right.
I'm still with you. What's the next one?
So my next question is: how does air influence ocean currents?
It's like a giant push. Wind blowing across the surface of the water drags the top layer of the ocean along with it. That movement creates huge currents that act like a conveyor belt, moving warm water from the equator toward the poles and cold water back again, which basically regulates the temperature of the entire planet.
All right, Maya. Thank you. So my next question is: why are breezes important in hot climates?
I think you might have shifted gears there. Bridges in hot climates are often designed with expansion joints, those metal teeth you see in the road, because heat makes the materials expand. Without them, the bridge would literally buckle and crack under the pressure of its own growth.
All right, Maya. Thank you. So my next question is: how does air pressure affect weather forecast?
It's the ultimate clue. Meteorologists look at pressure systems to predict what's coming. High pressure usually means clear skies and calm weather because it pushes air down, preventing clouds from forming. Low pressure does the opposite. It sucks air up, which leads to clouds, rain, and storms. So when the pressure drops, you'd better grab an umbrella.
All right, Maya. Thank you for giving me this information in detail. So, bye bye. Take care. See you soon.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure diving into all that with you. Take care, and I'll be here whenever you're ready.
So viewers, this was my AA session with Maya. I hope you like it. We will meet again in the next video. Until then, Allah Hafiz, Pakistan Zindabad.